All right, it's getting real hot out there. It's getting real hot. Jemele Hill is getting flamed. Jemele Hill is getting tore up. Top of the line, A1 race baiter. Jemele Hill was under fire. Jason Whitlock stepped in the kitchen, and he is going bombs away on Jemele Hill. And Rick Bucher exposing Jemele Hill for being a race baiter. He brought up a point about the WNBA's broadcast team and the telecast, WNBA Countdown and all that, how it's just one big old girls club or whatever. And Jemele Hill tried to make it about race. And Jason Whitlock absolutely tore her up. We got to get into it. Welcome to Keep the Vision. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share the channel, hit the bell notification, hype the video. That would be greatly appreciated. Now, Rick Bucher made a point. I put up a video on that yesterday about the WNBA, pretty much their media and broadcast team or whatever. And Jemele Hill went on this whole thing. 80 just, oh, this percent is white men, white men, white men. He didn't say a single word about race. And take a look at what he had to say before we get to Jason Whitlock. His response to her was, I didn't say a word about color. He didn't. Jemele Hill is a race baiter. That's all she does. It doesn't, you could be talking about Taco Bell and she's going to talk about the first black person that ever tasted Taco Bell. That's what she does. He said, I didn't say a word about color. My point is simple. The highest form of respect for the WNBA by the league and broadcast partners will be to treat it the same as the NBA. Otherwise, the WNBA will be the one viewed as unserious. And a lot of people view the WNBA as unserious. Jason Whitlock absolutely flamed her. Let's get into what Whitlock had to say.
Jemele Hill is the unserious person, not Rick Bucher. Hill exposed herself trying to put Rick Bucher in his place. Rick asked a simple question over social media. Why does the WNBA coverage feel like a monotone press release? Where's the debate, the friction? Anybody willing to say a hard thing about that league? He wondered if ESPN built a protective bubble around it. That's all he asked. Listen for yourself.
Why are all the color analysts and studio hosts women?
Okay, and that's more so. He was just asking, why is it all women? It seems like, it's like y'all don't want to make this thing serious or legitimate. What is going on? Go ahead, Whitlock.
I'll ask again. What are they afraid of?
Rick Bucher asked a question on merit, the same standard the WNBA claims to stand for when it wants credit and abandons the moment it wants cover. Jemele didn't answer the question. She dropped 6 stats about sports editors, anchors, producers, and analysts being majority white men across the entire industry. Look for yourself. 83% of sports editors are white men. 75% of assistant sports editors are white men. 82% of columnists are white men. 67, anyway, you can look for yourself. Rick asked about WNBA coverage specifically. Jemele answered about the sports media generally. That's not a rebuttal, that's a subject change, and she had the nerve to call his question deeply unserious. Here's what Jemele actually wants. She wants the rest of society to adopt the worldview of the WNBA itself, a league that constantly beats its chest that it was built on the backs of black women. So
Whitlock is spot on. He's spot on. You cooking right now.
Black women should dominate who covers it, who critiques it, who's allowed near a microphone discussing it. That's not a diversity standard. That's a velvet rope with a press pass. The league uses diversity as the label and race as the actual gate, and Jemele wants that racially sorted model exported to every newsroom in the country. Here's what's actually unserious. Treating a hiring outcome as proof of a bias while ignoring every input that produces the outcome. You want to be a sports editor? You need a degree. And before the degree, you need the score that gets you in the door. Black students average 904 on the SAT. White students average 1,077. A 173-point gap before a single application opens. Black students complete a 4-year degree in 6 years at 43%. White students, 64%. High school graduation, look at a soft, nobody wants to say.
He's making a valid point right now, though.
So I'll say it. Black Americans are incarcerated at roughly 5 times the rate of white Americans. I'm not litigating why. I'm telling you what that means for a pipeline. It's hard to build sourcing relationships and file game columns when your mailing address is a federal correctional facility. We've liberalized remote work in this country, Jemele, but it hasn't gotten that liberal. Every input that produces a sports journalist, the score, the degree, the internship, the years building trust with front offices, has a measurable, documented gap running through it before race ever touches a hiring decision.
That's why I didn't understand why she went straight to race. He didn't say anything about race at all. He literally didn't. And she just race baited and went and made the whole thing about that.
Jemele wants you to skip straight to the hiring decision and call it the crime scene. That's not analysis. That's not journalism. That's an argument for outcomes engineered by skin color instead of outcomes earned through qualification, dressed up in the same "we built this" mythology the WNBA sells about itself. She's not asking for equal opportunity. She had that. Everyone answering Rick's tweet had that. She's demanding equal results sorted by race, regardless of what anybody put into the pipeline.
And that's the thing. Rick Bucher, it wasn't about race at all. And he asked a very, very valid question. What's up with it? It seems like nobody says anything real. You got to understand, Jemele Hill. Y'all had Monica McNutt and Andrea Carter. There was a peak of 4 million people watching that Atlanta Dream Indiana Fever game. And the halftime show comes on. Angel Reese missed 5 layups in the first quarter alone. The halftime show comes on, and they act like Monica McNutt, Case, and Chinny and them, they act like they can't even say that Angel Reese is missing layups and needs to start making layups. They didn't even, they act like they act like 4 million people at peak did not see the same thing. It's ridiculous. Rick Bucher's not out of line. Y'all act like it's a girls' club and y'all can't even say somebody's missing layups. It's weird.
And when you push back, she calls you unserious. I'll tell you who's unserious. It's the person holding a spreadsheet of hiring outcomes while refusing to open the one on SAT scores, graduation rates, marriage rates, and incarceration rates that actually built that spreadsheet. Rick Bucher asked a merit-based question about a league that hides behind alleged diversity standards to conceal its own racially sorted worldview. Jemele Hill answered with a deflection, dressed up as a diversity audit, and called the honest question childish. The real childish argument is thinking a scoreboard should read the same when one team never got to practice.
That was Jason Whitlock. He absolutely nailed it. He whipped up a pot of something on that one. Jason Whitlock absolutely whipped up a pot of something. Jemele Hill's just been getting cooked. All that race baiting is not working. It's not going to work. What says you? Get down in the comments. Let me know what you think. This Keep the Vision. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share the channel.